Hey, it's been a while since the last video. A lot of my focus recently has been on game development. I started testing for a new project called Devious Soup recently. I have that set up over on Discord if you're interested at all, but I'll probably post more about that soon-ish on YouTube. But in the meantime, we're back with another Made in Abyss chapter after like 6 months or something. This video is going to be similar to a lot of my other ones recently that have been more minimal editing, like low scripting, just kind of me chatting about stuff. This one I do want to keep short. I know I usually say that, but I do want to keep this one short because there is a lot in here that I don't really want to touch on because it's just kind of pointing out the obvious, but I'll go through my notes and talk about interesting stuff that I noticed or just like some thoughts that I had. But I'll go through this in sections, not really chronological order, but we'll just go through the points quickly. Uh first section I want to talk about is limbs. Limbs are coming up again. Very glad that Nanachi survived. I feel like the group dynamic for Hello Abyss would just be kind of off without Nanachi, so very glad they're still in. But it does look like they are following suit with Rico and Reg of getting a broken limb. Looks like their legs are going to be like irreparably damaged. Again, limbs coming up. There's something important about limbs. I'm not 100% sure on what. Like the twins lost their limbs, part of their spines. Hello Abyss keeps breaking their limbs. The children who became cartridges had their limbs and spine removed. Wazukan and Bailoff are like designed after and call themselves I forget what the exact terms that each of them use, but they both call themselves essentially like limbs of Iraburu. It seems like one of those things, like with like childhood and innocence, that keeps coming up that has some important theme, but I'm not fully sure why it's in quite yet. Next section, Hail Hex. I do like that for Palm following their title of Storehouse. It seems to just be like an inventory system for Straja that is very funny. And with Straja's weapon of the shovel, it does fit her like general very basic like Delver aesthetic, but it also makes me think of like a Gravedigger as well, kind of touching on the like death themes. But I'm curious where that'll go and how far it'll go, especially because Bondrewd had so much visual storytelling within his character design and within the design of the Umbra Hands. There is definitely a lot of design through lines within Hail Hex, but I'm curious what a lot of the meanings behind that will be. And also, I'm very curious of why the twins are with Hail Hex, especially if they only have 1 month to live. I feel like there has to be some important reason as to why they're with Hail Hex, but just questions for later. But yeah, Reg got the big lore drop thing at the end of the chapter. We stumble into a battleground that happened between Reg and Clawbot has that blue pendant thing with the weird symbol inside of it. Clawbot also refers to a Karina. I'm not sure if that's like the pendant itself or if it's someone unrelated. And then we also see a new character holding a sniper rifle and what looks like a brush or something. They recognize Reg. They were there when the fight happened, which for them probably wasn't that long ago. They mentioned Tapaste, so probably a part of their Shrine Maidens group. I'm curious how many new characters there will be. New important characters. It seems like this arc will be pretty packed. Some miscellaneous other points. We see that like division symbol thing on Reg's cloak. I've always paired that symbol with like the very suggestive abyss symbol thing that's on like Reg's belt buckle is tattooed on Nishigora. The division symbol has shown up in a bunch of places too. The main place that I remember it from is on Gabaroon's kneecaps. I am curious to see what a lot of the meanings behind them are. We also have an actual time scale now. It looks like the sixth layer is approximately 30 times slower than the surface. And if that's the case, and what Wazikyan said was accurate about Iruburu being around 150 years old in sixth layer time, then that would put its creation like I suspected it was back like at least one of the 2,000 year cycles, but it looks like it was actually back two, because it would put it to like at least 4,500 years old. That's interesting. That puts a lot more history, I guess, between Ganjakor and the current time. There's a whole cycle that we don't even know about. I'm curious if there's any interesting details around that other people have found out, not just related to Iruburu, but with the time scale in general. And I'm also curious if anyone has been tracking approximately how long Hello Abyss has been in the Abyss. It'd be interesting to see a comparison of like how long in surface time they've really been underground. But also, this one is, I mean, I guess not important. We already knew about the Buddhist themes in Made in Abyss, but it's cool having something more overt, with Srajo calling the 2,000 year cycles the cycle of reincarnation. I'm not the most well versed in Buddhist themes. If anyone else is, please let me know if there's anything that's ringing a bell. I'll try to look more into it, but yeah, that was really all the thoughts that I had for this chapter. This one was more of like an emotional chapter and a winding down chapter. Of course, there's going to be more lore like with every Made in Abyss chapter, but nothing super punchy and super long to talk about. Hopefully it doesn't take too long until the next chapter. I'm curious to see where this goes, and it seems we'll have a clash between Hail Hex and Hello Abyss and that group pretty soon. I'm curious how extreme it's gonna get, because like every arc has been like getting way more extra than the previous arcs, and I feel like, well, a huge battle between like multiple sides would be interesting. I feel like Sakushi is gonna add some little extra spice into that, but we'll see. Hopefully not super long of a wait. If you're interested at all in Devious Soup or learning more about that, let me know. Feel free to head over to the Discord if you're interested in testing it. I'll likely have some videos in the future talking about that and talking about game development stuff in general. But I will keep doing these Made in Abyss videos until the manga's over, most likely, which probably won't be for quite a while. I don't think I'll have any huge major videos outside of these chapter reviews until this arc is over, and until we have a solid chunk to like go back and analyze and dig into. Until whatever the next thing is, I'll see you all later.